Internets, hello you lovelies, and welcome to The Bear Season 3. My quick first thoughts review of the first 3 episodes of Season 3. Tomorrow I'll be dropping 4 through 7, and then I'll be doing 8, 9, and 10 on Friday, watching these in pieces and reviewing them in pieces. If you're new to this page, I do movie reviews, I give movie news. I do comic book reviews, I give comic book news, and when a show like The Bear is about, I do cover TV as well, but it's a lot more of a time commitment, so I do less TV, but The Bear is one of my favorite shows of all time. In 2021, only 3 years ago, when The Bear was airing, I, completely out of word of mouth, within like 48 hours of The Bear dropping, decided to give the show a chance, and I thought if it was as good as it started, it would be one of the best new shows on TV. Within the second season, a year later, I thought if this is as good as the first season, and in my opinion it was even better, I thought this would be one of the best modern TV shows, hard stop, like one of the golden age of TV's best shows. And the way this season is going, if this show continues to escalate and the tension continues to grow and it continues to get deeper into the psyche of these characters, this could go down as one of the greatest TV shows, period. Hard stop, of all time. This show is so powerful and wonderful and so special. This show, I can't believe they've come out a year apart. And I feel like that first season was so much more than 3 years ago because it's impacted my experience of television so much. I think it's impacted all of television so much. It's made stars out of everyone in the cast, deservedly so. It's changed how I think TV is being presented. I love this insane style of art, because this show is truly art. And let's break it down an episode at a time, and then we'll talk about overall thoughts for the first beginning of this show, these first 3 episodes. But let's go with episode 1. Episode 1 is melancholy made into melody. It is melodic melancholy. It is melancholic melody. It is beautiful poem. It is a feeling. In the way that smell is tied to memory, I feel like sounds and songs and triggers with sounds are tied to memory and emotion. And the way it's able to spin this web of not only capturing the feeling of 10,000 hours of labor, of intense work and passion, but also the way it's able to capture memory in a way that feels like your memory. The way we remember things is such a blend of vibrant imagery and distorted fuzziness. This blend, this cacophony of sight and sound that forms this atmosphere. And that first episode is atmosphere. And I love that the first episode is very dialogue light, and I love that it's very emotion heavy, and it transitions between time via emotion, not via narrative, but via a feeling. And it leaps around in time, and we've not really seen the journey of Carmy to this point for that long. We've seen flashes, we've seen moments, we've built backstory certainly, but we lived Carmy's journey for that first episode, and I really loved how silent it was. There's dialogue, but it's so weighted in emotion, and it's so weighted in song. And I love that it had this Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor foreboding and ominousness. And I love that the acting was able to shine through without dialogue being the predominant delivery system for emotion. It's able to give us so many of the cast members from the last 2 seasons in a mix of the footage we've seen and new footage. It was like the best version of a catch-up to the emotional connection without being a last time on. It was an emotional through line instead of narrative through line for a catch-up for us. And that's genius, because it was almost a denouement to seasons 1 and 2 as much as it was a prelude to season 3. It was this great connective tissue that caught us up, not just through the 2 seasons we've seen, but prior. So it's a prequel as well as a let's get emotionally invested in our lead again. And that's essential for the way this season seems to be going with, this dude's not the most likable guy, but Jeremy Allen White has made him so likable. And we need to remember what he went through to get to this point to understand the trauma of what he's requiring to get this Michelin star. And I really think that there's a blend of so much different visual and auditory and so many types of emotion brought upon by the trauma of the imagery and the style of editing and the staccato of it, and seeing John Bernthal again and having new scenes with him, but also having that smile, that moment we've seen a few times over, tying us emotionally, tying our emotional memory to his emotional memory, and then crashing. And then, there's a few moments where I was like, how's the episode going to end, and how's it going to build and escalate? And I was really impressed. And I love that not only did I think it was going to end with his brother, but it didn't end with his brother. It had his brother as going into that third act of the episode, but then it ended with the incredible memory of Io's character, but we've never seen that. We've just heard about it. So it was like we got to experience the taste, the flavor of the experience through her for the first time, even though it was a Carmy episode. So bringing those two storylines together through all the journey, seeing backstory with brother and sister relationship, feeling the loss he felt in a new way, seeing the funeral, that episode was amazing. So it was poetry. Love that first episode. Which brings us to the second episode, where the first episode had no opening credits and didn't feel like a TV episode. It felt like I said, a poem, this ethereal thing. I love that the second episode focused very much on the opening, the first third, feeling like humanity. It felt like a documentary. It felt like society and family and gatherings and people celebrating in a very day in the life. Like very, again, documentary style, this feeling of kinship with a city, this pulse of a city, this experience of a city. Because you've got to love Chicago. You've got to feel this beating heart of Chicago. And you also have to feel the dichotomy, the duality of the isolation from the first episode juxtaposed with this sense of community in the second. This pulse that's lacking in the first. The first one's pulse is erratic and sorrowful. The second episode's pulse is, in the beginning, celebratory, and it's about sharing that pulse, and I loved that, because that's what the show does so well. It connects. Then the second two-thirds of the episode are almost a play. The second two-thirds take place in just the kitchen, and they take place almost in real time over the course of the time we get with these characters. We're rebuilding the family, and it's this insane yes and comedy, but also yes and drama, where repetition is used both to reinvigorate a point and to hurt you with emotion, and then also to elevate you with comedy, and it's able to make your diaphragm spasm with laughter and then sorrow. Like, the difference between crying and laughter is so similar in so many things. That's why sometimes you cry when you're laughing. That's sometimes you laugh when you're crying. It's such a human response to have both. And the second episode manages to do that with writing and acting and directing and editing. It makes you feel those things. And I love that the writing is allowing you to emotionally be confused while diving deeper into those emotions. You don't lose the depth of frustration and rage and sorrow when the laugh happens. Just like in life, that little to catch your breath doesn't completely alleviate it, and then they get you back. So you catch your breath just to dive back in deeper, and the whole two-thirds are this delivery system, and it transitions from what he's going through, Carmy, and what the rest of the family, his restaurant family, are experiencing in response to him, what we have Io's character dealing with in response to him, and that reluctant, let's see how this goes. Their bond is incredible. I love that there's a show where there's a strong bond that isn't, a sexual relationship. It's platonic, but very intense. Intimacy in that way is so interesting. And I think intimacy is an important show, and I've probably seen plenty of videos of me talking about how I think there should be more intimacy in narratives, especially for adults. And I think that we don't always show intimacy like this and how important this type of relationship is. And I love that friction between them that is so vital to the show. And I really think it captured the two of them, because they seem to be great in real life, and those characters are so lived in. I love that we came right back to that. And I really think the writing is something special, especially in that second episode. And then the end of that second episode with Marcus and Carmy. And I nearly cried. And it's a very short scene. It's only a couple minutes. And just Marcus thanking Carmy and the importance of the restaurant and the bear, the place, to the both of them, and him thanking and encouraging him, like, you've got to do this. So now it's a reason for Carmy, besides his own thing, besides her wanting the star. It's a reason to drive. They've all got their reason that this is important, and that hit, man. That was a powerful moment. So the second episode, if the first episode was poetry visually and melodically, the second episode is poetry verbally and through aggressive emotion in so many different ways, and it was really something special. And then the third episode, it's crazy to me that we're in the third episode of season 3 of The Bear, and this is the first time we've really seen the whole team after years of waiting for this, the first time we've seen the whole team actually working the restaurant. Because we had the finale, the restaurant's open, but we've got most of the episode, half the episode, with Carmy in the fridge. Like, he's not part of this. It's not working. That's the reason the second episode's so powerful. This is the first time we've seen it open and, like, moving besides, like, a grand opening. And it's so cool to see all the stress and experiences we had in the other seasons, but elevated. And I have worked in restaurants for years. I served many, many years of Italian food, and in various levels. I've done 4-star, I've done Olive Garden, I've done mom and pop restaurants, I did a movie theater restaurant. I've done all sorts of different styles of food, and all of it's stressful, all of it's insane, all of it's an 11, and this show really captures that. And I think one of the reasons I love it so much is it's really cathartic in its anxiety. And I think you don't need to have worked in a restaurant, but if you have worked in a restaurant and ever catch yourself, I haven't worked in a restaurant in like 7 or 8 years, I still catch myself saying behind, corner, all that stuff is in you. It's part of you. Your DNA changes. And this show brings a lot of that back. It reawakens feelings and memories and intensity. And all 3 of these episodes are very good at making you experience them via memory, via specificity of imagery, via your own connection to characters or to your own life. And this 3rd episode manipulates your emotions into really caring about the restaurant as its own character, because now you've set up why you care about each of these people through the seasons, and then the 2nd episode puts you back into caring about individually each of them through the trauma and comedy, the 2 masks of drama. And now we are here caring about the restaurant and its survival and the people in it and the experience of it, which is what hospitality is all about. So now we, as a viewer, are invested in the hospitality of the bear, because we've gotten to this point in the 3rd episode where everything is moving, everything is chaos, they're changing the menu every day, things aren't working, and in restaurants it's always chaos, but this is an elevated chaos, and especially the way it's shot, the way it's edited, it's so much, and all the while we're caring about these people in the throes of this, and it ends with Io's character basically looking like she's about done. And I'm really curious where we go from here, but I only want to do 3 at a time. I am going to do 4 for my part 2, because I think 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then a 3 finale at the end. So I'll be back tomorrow, probably late afternoon, for episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then the finale, everything leading up to the finale on Friday. So those are my thoughts on the first 3 episodes of The Bear. I absolutely love the comedy. I love the drama. I have so much more I could say, but maybe I'll cover things a little bit more detailed once we get to the finale of the whole show. But I wanted to get first thoughts right away and get them out to you lovely. So I'm exhausted. I love what this show makes me feel. I love how much it makes me feel, and I really appreciate this kind of TV. I need this kind of TV. This is something so very special. Hope you get as much out of it as I do. One of the best shows, I think, to exist. That is going to do it for this video. Please do like, please do subscribe. I do want to keep growing this channel, and I really enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. So if you enjoyed this, please follow along. Join me in this this little bit of chaos. Tomorrow morning, I'll be dropping This Week in Comics for this week. It was a little late because I upgraded my camera. If you guys are seeing this in 4K, it's because I'm not on my phone anymore. But that meant I had to learn a lot of stuff, and that delayed everything. So tomorrow, This Week in Comics drops bright and early, followed by the next 4 episodes of The Bear, followed by the finale the next day, and some Quiet Plays Day 1, all coming at you in the next 72 hours. Oh boy. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.